Welcome to part 3C of this Peatland ACTION mini-series on how to complete the spatial data template. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to add polygon features into the restoration areas layer. As you see, we have the fresh template where we've previously added a site outline and some features into the restoration lines layer in videos 3A and 3B of the Peatland ACTION mini-series. As mentioned in video 3A, the site outline layer needs to be populated first, as the site ID is a mandatory field in all the remaining layers. It's also recommended that you add at least 2 sources of aerial imagery to your base maps group, as some features will be far more visible in some sources than in others. Finally, before adding any features to the area-based restoration layer, it's recommended that the spatial data template guidance is opened alongside your GIS project. Here you can see that I've opened the guidance to the left and I've scrolled down to the restoration area's general layer description table. This table reflects the data contained within the area-based restoration layer in the spatial tables group in the GIS template. The columns within that layer are in the attribute column to the left in this table. You can also find out the data type and the units, a description which indicates the kind of data that we're looking for and whether or not the field is mandatory. You'll note that some of the data types are text, which such as the notes column is just a free text column, and others are text constrained. This is where they rely on a restricted list of values that will be contained in the lookup tables in the GIS project and also in the lookup tables in the guidance PDF beneath the layer description tables. It's also worth noting that most of the fields are definitively mandatory yes or no. However, there are some instances where a field may be mandatory if another field is populated in a certain way. For the restoration areas layer, this includes the material used and the scrub density. The material used is only mandatory where a technique of a dam or bund is applied, and the scrub density is only mandatory where the restoration technique is scrub removal. Before adding a feature into the area-based restoration layer, it's useful to zoom in on an area where you're looking to digitize your feature. You can do this by using the mouse scroll, or you can use the magnifying glasses at the top of the toolbar. If you just click and hold and then drag a box over the area that you want to zoom in on, this will become your new extent. So to add a feature to the area-based restoration layer, it first needs to be in edit mode. Select the layer in the layers panel to the left and right-click and click toggle editing. Alternatively, click the pencil icon in the toolbar above. You'll see an icon become active to the right, which is the add a feature icon, and you'll note that the symbology in this icon has updated to a polygon to match the layer that's selected for editing in the layers panel. Click on this icon and you can start digitizing your feature in the map below. Each time you click, you'll add a vertice, which means that you can then change the direction of the next line. And once you've completed, one right click will finish the shape and bring up your feature attribute box. You'll see that this looks similar to the feature attributes box for the site outline and the restoration lines layers. However, the columns down the left-hand side are slightly different. These columns should match the columns in the attribute column in the layer description table to the left in the guidance PDF. Based on the GIS pop-up box, you'll see that only 2 features are indicated as mandatory based on the green tick and red cross to the right-hand side of the fields. And when we compare that to the layer description table to the left in the guidance PDF, we can see that both of those fields are indeed mandatory. There are 2 other fields which are mandatory, the FID and the geometry. However, as these aren't visible in the feature attributes box, you don't need to worry about either of these. So you can see that the site ID has automatically been populated as 1, as this is the ID of the site outline that the feature has been drawn within. And the restoration technique is currently null, so in order to access the restoration techniques available, we just click on this drop-down menu and you'll see a list pop up above. So I'm going to select scrub removal for this example, and where the technique is scrub removal, I have to apply scrub density, which I can see is the final field here in the feature attributes pop-up. I'm going to use the drop-down menu and select intermediate. The secondary restoration technique is a free text layer where you can add any additional techniques that maybe aren't listed in the restricted values options. And the material used is not a mandatory layer unless you are using one of the 4 bund/dam techniques in the restoration areas layer. However, if you have the information available, please do add it. In this case, as it's scrub removal, null is actually the most applicable. And then we would also want to change the intervention type from installation to removal. Once you've completed the feature attributes box, you can click OK and your feature will appear in the map window. You'll see that it's a purple polygon, and if you expand the small arrow to the left of the area-based restoration layer name, you'll see that this is related to scrub removal, as the layer is stylized based on the restoration technique. To save this feature to the layer permanently, we need to press the floppy disk symbol in the top toolbar. Whilst the styling of this layer allows you to easily see what techniques are available, you cannot copy any of the names from this drop-down list. If you wish to carry out bulk updates to this layer at a later date, then you would be best to copy the cell content from the lookup table for the restoration technique areas. So if I right-click and open the attribute table, then it will bring up the restoration technique areas and you can right-click and copy cell content. In this way, you can ensure that your updates are in line with the restricted values as per the template. You'll note that I've selected 5 restoration techniques in the restoration techniques lookup table for the area-based restoration layer. These are all techniques which lend themselves to be digitized into linear features. Therefore, it's generally recommended that these are added to the restoration lines layer rather than the area-based restoration layer. If you do wish to digitize these into the area-based restoration layer, please note that they still need to be defined to feature level, and therefore drawing polygons such as the one that's just been defined for any of these 5 categories would not be accepted by the data and evidence team. The remaining videos in part 3 will cover how to add features to the forest to bog layer and the bare peat stabilisation layer. And there will be other videos in this Peatland Action mini-series that cover how to generate your restoration footprint, how to undertake some self-QA, and how to set up a fresh template, all of which can be found on the NatureScott Peatland Action website.